Question. Have you ever heard of frugal fatigue? Why? Let's talk about this on this We Can Do It Wednesday. Back in a minute. This is Jan from New York City. Channel name is Jan from New York City. Saves money. I truly love helping people keep some more of their own hard-earned money. Could that be you? Have you ever heard of or experienced frugal fatigue? What on earth is that? Number one, I just want to let you know, I personally was not born a frugal person. This is a lifestyle of which I have chosen and have honed over time, over I'd say a period of about 3 to 3.5 decades. Okay. But was I born like that? Not really. I don't think anybody's really born like that. It's something you kind of learn. Because when I was much younger, I was like a little bit more devil may care as far as spending goes. But then again, as time went on and I realized life for what it is and like really started to learn the value of a dollar. And I'm really glad that I learned the value of a dollar beforehand, before that horrendous layoff that I told you guys about that happened in 1997. And that's its own show. But let's talk about frugal fatigue today. You know, some people really want to be frugal. And it could be a struggle in the beginning, because if you're used to the devil may care lifestyle and, throwing your money around type thing, and then all of a sudden you can't switch it on and off like a light switch. You don't switch on the frugal lifestyle. Okay, tomorrow I'll be frugal. And it just like that cold turkey frugal. Honestly, it doesn't work that way. You kind of have to like blend your way into it, transitionalize, and in time, over time, and with a little bit of practice and with a little bit of realization that you're doing it for your own good and to make sure that you live a secure lifestyle financially. And that's really, really of utmost importance. But what do we do let's say that we kind of like we're careful and we are frugal and we don't mind the lifestyle, but every once in a while we get like, blah. I have a very good temporary Band-Aid method. Take a break from it, but take a break from the frugal fatigue very simply and easily with a small amount of money that I call mad crazy money. Now, here's the rules of the game with the mad crazy money. It never exceeds $20. Never. Could be $10, could be $5, whatever it is. And you put a lid on it, you put a cap on it and say, that's it. For some people, going shopping is the methodology of which, for whatever the reason, I don't know the reason. Some people, now there's a big difference between shopping and purchasing, and that's its own show. And I actually covered that in the past. But some people literally feel a little better, like sort of like bending the rule a little bit. So if you put a cap on it and a limit on it, and you just spend with your quote, end of quote, mad crazy money. And by the way, everyone should have a little bit of personal mad crazy money for yourself every single month. For me, it's always the $20. I've been living with that $20 mad crazy money idea for a very long time. And yes, I like to separate that at the beginning of the month and put it away and call it my mad crazy money. Does that mean I have to spend it? 9 out of 10 times I don't spend it, but I usually leave it alone because it feels so good to know it's there. It's just there. And it's a funny thing. Maybe because I know it's there, I just I know it's there, but that doesn't mean I have to spend it. However, if I ever get, quote, end of quote, frugal fatigue, then I know what I could do with it. Just have a little bit of fun. Maybe just consider, going to a discount place and getting something frou-frou or silly or something I normally would not do, out of character for me for that moment in time. That's just an idea and a free way that you could beat frugal fatigue is maybe just take a mental break from thinking about being frugal. Just, live your life, have fun. I mean, there are so many free activities today, or sometimes the best thing in the world to do is think outside of the box, not even think of yourself and your needs, all of us, of our needs of ourselves, and maybe volunteer some time somewhere else where, our presence and our, I don't know, whatever it is that we could offer, in terms of a voluntary activity that makes the world a better place, then all of a sudden, the less you think about yourself, all of us, somehow magically, the less even frugal fatigue feels like. That's just, it's just a thought. Just thought I'd mention that today about frugal fatigue. Now, let's talk about goals. Sometimes we make goals that are almost insurmountable. Really, really, we do. And if you keep making some goals like way too high, for the most part, I would imagine most people listening to me are not going to climb Mount Everest this week. Who knows? My luck, somebody out there listening is going to say, yeah, I planned on doing it tomorrow. But I'm going to kind of lean on the probability, the law of probability, that in all probability, most of my listeners are planning not to climb Mount Everest this week. What do I mean by Mount Everest? Well, I don't necessarily mean the mountain, okay? Sometimes we make our goals so hard and non-ascertainable that we just feel so overwhelmed and insurmountable to even hit the goal. I think sometimes it's better to lower the bar and create teensy weensy itsy bitsy smaller goals. For example, if you were to say to me, or if I was going to say to you, you're going to save $25,000 this year from January to the end of December. You might answer me and go, why? Yes, you're going to save $25,000 this year. It just seems so insurmountable. However, wouldn't it seem a lot better to say the goal is to try to save $2,000 this month? Now, even, many people will say, well, that's, pretty high too. But you see where I'm going. If we break down the goal into tinier baby bites, then it is more realistic. Or like for people that say things like, I'm never, ever, ever going to have ice cream for the rest of my life. Let's say you normally eat ice cream, but maybe eat a little too much of ice cream. And not that you have any health issues, but for whatever the reason, you just don't want to eat too much ice cream because, all the sugar and all this and all that. But maybe you'd rather just have a little bit of ice cream on occasion. Isn't it more realistic to think that once in a while, the truth be told, let's say it's a really hot day and you get yourself a little teensy weensy ice cream, to think that once in a while you might do that, than to say things like, I'm never, ever, ever, for the rest of my born days, ever, 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 going to have ice cream. You see where I'm going with this? Sometimes when we raise the bar too high, we reach nothing. When I was a little kid, I keep thinking of these hills, these little hills in Central Park. We used to call them mountains. And if anybody's familiar with Central Park or grew up in New York City or visited there, when you sort of walk in through the immediate entrance near like 68th Street entrance, okay, or is it 59th, whatever, in the beginning of the park, when you walk in, you're going to see all these little hills, and they have these little etchings in them. They're very special. Those are actually fossilized from the Ice Age. Yes, yes, yes. Icebergs that split apart, landed in that area, and became fossilized into the earth and formulated into those rocks that you see. But when I was a kid, we all called them mountains. And those mountains we climbed, all of us, when we could. I don't know if it's roped off at this time. I don't remember offhand. But when I was a kid in the 1960s and 70s, we thought nothing of climbing up those. You might even see those etchings too when you're leaving the exit of I believe it's the Lincoln Tunnel, and you're coming out into that area of Jersey. If you look to the left and right immediately, you see those sort of etchings. Those are from, believe it or not, fossilized from the Ice Age. Imagine that. Yeah. But what does this have to do with the price of fish, of which I don't like fish anyway, but that's another show. Anyway, what it is this. Those so-called mountains were easy to climb. They were small. They were hills. They are hills, okay? Ascertainable, very simple to do, especially when you're young. You know what I mean? But right now, at almost age 65, I don't think I could do Mount Everest. So for me, I have to lower the bar for my goals. And I'm okay with that. I rather lower the bar and hit smaller goals as opposed to have these crazy, crazy wild goals too high for me and never, ever, ever hit them. So you see where I'm going with this. So maybe you might consider lowering the bar and give yourself a little break with some mad crazy money when you get frugal fatigue, if you get it. Honestly, I never really get frugal fatigue because I keep it exciting and fun. And I do that by creating those little goals. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Take good care now. Bye bye.